I am Rob White, and this is yet another episode of Who the F is Rob White, the show on YouTube here where I tattoo and hang out with fellow stand-up comics. My guest on the show today is Rene Fuentes. Rene, say hey.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Rob, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're doing this cool piece here from Mars Attacks, and this should be a lot of fun. I haven't done one of these guys in a while. A little random alien. So
Some
yeah.
action.
Yeah, Oh, that was hacky. Jesus God, we're already on this. All right. And we got the coil machines again today, so nice and loud. Hopefully this... What? The audio. Is it going to be okay with the coil? Is it bad?
No, you're fine.
Nah, we did this before with Joe, and it was fine. We're going to be okay. All right.
We're off.
Now we're off and running. So, a little line or two, so you know what we're back into, and, go from there.
Oh, you have a gentle touch, Rob.
Well, you try. Try not to kill anybody,
I've been wanting a Mars Attack tattoo since I was like 18.
Yeah, that was one of those movies I haven't watched the full entire movie. So I've seen, all the clips and stuff, but I feel like I haven't given, justice to this to know exactly what's going on here. So, what was the story? Was it a comic book? I know we talked about that earlier.
It was a comic book. I have no knowledge of the lore behind Mars Attack. I just really liked the movie. But yeah, just aliens came to Earth and they thought they were friendly, and then there was some miscommunication, and then the aliens just started fucking everything up. It was a great movie.
There was a lot of random people. We said Jack Nicholson and Danny DeVito and
Michael J. Fox.
he was in it, really?
Yeah, Pierce Bronson, the 007 dude.
Yeah.
Tom Jones.
Tom fucking Jones.
Yeah, you know Ray J. Ray J was in it.
Ray J.
What do you know about Ray J, Rob?
I don't know anything about Ray J, so I feel like already I'm at a loss. Who is Ray J?
You know who Brandy was?
Yeah, of course.
That was his. That's her brother, who also was an R&B singer. He's just like a character now.
What happened to him?
He's doing fine. He owns a bunch of really random companies. He makes a lot of money just doing random shit.
Ray J, did he do porn?
No, he was the guy.
He fucked somebody.
He was the guy that I always forget this about Ray J. It's probably his most notable credit. But he had the sex tape with Kim Kardashian.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Isn't it horrible that you could do all these amazing things and just be like...
But it's funny, that was the last thing I thought about when I thought of Ray J.
I was like, this guy sounds familiar, but I don't know what he ever did.
You ever hear the song One Wish?
A wish?
One Wish.
One wish, no.
You don't seem like an R&B guy.
No. Yeah, I'm definitely aggressively white, so I get branded as the guy that doesn't know anything about culture. That's not boiled potatoes and shit. I try, but everyone makes fun of me all the time.
I'm sure that's not entirely true.
Nah, I got some knowledge of hip hop and stuff, but it's not. It's always very, very weird, obscure shit that no one cares about.
Fair enough.
The bands that aren't the big name bands and shit. Talk about what's the Firm. Everybody always talks about hip hop, and I'm the Firm. No one remembers the Firm. That was
I have no idea what the Firm is.
Yeah, it was Nas's original. God, who else was in that? Who was in the Firm?
Tom Cruise?
No, not
Tom
the movie, the
Cruise.
hip hop album, the album. Just people are gonna make fun of me for fucking trying to even talk about this shit. Oh, yeah.
I would believe you said Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, exactly. You seem like you'd be into Vanilla Ice. God damn it. God damn it, no. Remember the Fugees? Remember them?
The Fugees was good. But Vanilla Ice also had some hits. Have you ever watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie? That was a great song. That was the second one.
Come on, really? What was the, it wasn't MC Hammer on that soundtrack too? Or am I thinking of something else? Wasn't it Go Turtle, Go Turtle,
Yeah,
go?
that was Vanilla Ice.
Oh, that was Vanilla Ice, okay.
Yeah.
That's hysterical. Vanilla Ice was trying to be hard, which is weird to me. because he's not, you know. But like in the beginning, like he was trying to be like a hard gangster rapper. I don't know what made them think that that was okay.
I didn't witness his impact on pop culture live. You know, I think that was a little bit before me.
No, yeah, that was definitely my era. Like, you know, but it was just like you knew this was corny. Like everyone knew like MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice were corny immediately, but they were still trying to play it out like no, he's like legit, bro. Like he's like gangster and shit. I'm like, what the
I think
hair
that was
like
that was like the first like white rapper.
That was well, no, you know, no one gives enough credit to the first, like the real deal white rapper was Everlast and the House of Pain with Danny Boy, who was DJ Lethal, and like those guys were legit for that time because they weren't just doing it to like jump on the bandwagon and be whatever you want to call it, you know.
I would say probably commercially
posers.
successful.
Oh yeah, 100%. I would say that probably the most successful hip hop song of all time is "Jump Around" by House of Pain, and people are like, "How? What? No. Where do you go with that?" And if you think about it for a minute, you've been to a dozen sporting events and just occasions, weddings, parties, bar
It's always
mitzvahs,
playing. Timeless.
and, you know, you'll be there like watching the Lakers, and all of a sudden it's like jump around. Like they play that constantly. So the amount of money that they're getting off of what's that called, residuals?
Yeah.
For every time you play it, you can go to like the most from like hip hop events to the whitest fucking country western concert, and they'll play "Jump Around." Like it's weird. It's a weird kind of goes everywhere sort of song. But yeah, no, that was a weirdly commercial, popular band, the House of Pain, and he's talented too. Unfortunately, he had a lot of beef with Eminem and stuff like that, so kind of tainted it.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar, but I know Eminem had beef with everyone.
Yeah, I
back
think
in the
that was
day.
kind of the thing though in hip hop, like to have beef with somebody made you stronger, you know? It would kind of like, I don't know, give you street credit or whatever. I wish that comics had beef like that. That would be hilarious.
I think.
Like, could you imagine if that was a thing?
I think it is to an extent. Like, I definitely heard of like story. Like I think most recent, I think it was Corey Holcombs and Darnell Rollins. Like they had like a back and forth for a while. I think like Darnell was like heckling him during his show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like at a comedy club. It's like podcast beef though. I don't think it's like real stand up. I think the last notable one was probably like to Joe Rogan Mencia beef.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. But that's like, yeah, that's because they basically calling him out for stealing. You know what? You're right, because I said that, and then immediately you're right. I have to take it all back because Cat Williams is just fucking crazy now, going after everybody. So, which I don't know. Do you think that was one of those things that he did to sort of make himself bigger, or do you think that was one of those things where?
I mean, I think
he meant it?
I think he definitely meant it. I think Cat Williams is plenty big, you know, already. But also after that interview dropped, he dropped the Netflix special.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, everybody knew who Cat was, but as soon as, like, when that happened, I didn't even know who Shannon Sharp was. I'm like, who? Well, who is he? Like, I have no idea. And all of a sudden, it was like, now every time I turned on my YouTube, it was him again on there doing some kind of interview with somebody, and you know, you wound up watching it.
You know who Shannon Sharp was?
I didn't
football?
know. No, I was never really a big football fan.
Yeah, because I know he was like a sports analysis. That's how I knew him originally. And then he got into the podcast game.
It was, I watched that full entire thing with Cat Williams. It was
Very
definitely
entertaining.
Oh, yeah. He says a lot of crazy shit. And then he did the Rogan podcast afterwards, and that was nothing. He said nothing. Like, I was waiting for him to just, you know, tell me, like, where all the Epstein kids were. I was waiting for him to, like, really just dig in deep, and he did nothing.
He was very timid on that one.
Yeah, it was like, so I almost felt like, was it strategic to just try to boost ratings for Shannon, or was this some kind of thing that he was trying to do to get that Netflix special? Like, but insightful, you know. He said wild things on there that I thought like were insane, and then a month later, I'm like, oh yeah, no, he said that. That was true, you know. Like he was saying all the different black actors that once they get to a certain level, they have to wear a dress.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what does that even mean? And then I started watching different shows and, documentaries. Like I watched the one that was like behind the dark side of the 90s. And it was, Jaleel White from Family Matters. And then there was an episode where all of a sudden, like, Urkel had to wear a dress, and Eddie had to wear a dress, and I was like, and Carl had to wear a dress, and I'm like, wait a minute, they just took everybody and eventually made them wear a dress. Like, maybe there is some sort of cult of.
Was that Chappelle's thing when he before he disappeared? They wanted him to do that or something to that nature.
Yeah, I feel like he might have done it though. Did he do it for something?
No.
He never wore the dress? No, never?
You're saying that was one of the things I liked about it.
And you're like, come on, they're not making everyone wear a dress. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, well, I'm sure they just do it to all actors. Maybe it's an actor's haze. And I'm like, nah, I don't remember. I don't remember any of these guys wearing it. I don't think John Wayne ever put on a dress.
Did Robert De Niro ever wear a dress?
Yeah. I don't know. You ever think sometimes maybe is it real or is it something that's in your brain that you're just kind of now that you saw it, like, you never noticed how many Jeeps are on the road until you buy a Jeep, and then you're like, there's a lot of Jeeps on the road. Well, yeah, your brain just kind of noticed that,
You never know how many people wear dresses until you start wearing a dress.
Well, you start wearing a dress, yeah, exactly. It's a fucking weird world, man. How's this going up there, all right?
Yeah, not too bad. I wanted to pick like a spot where I knew I couldn't just like muscle through it.
Yeah, it's not fun, but I feel like it's not killer either,
Oh no, I mean I love the feeling of it, like especially once it goes numb, and it's just kind of I'm a sick fuck.
It's a strange kind of.
Like it hurts so good.
Yeah, I guess it's almost like you get that weird itch, It's like I don't know. It's like sticking your tongue on a square battery. You ever do that?
Not recently.
You ever done it before at all in your life?
No, I don't think so. No.
It's fucking weird. Try it one day.
It's not really. I don't think there's many things out there that requires batteries nowadays.
No.
Like the old days.
Yeah, it used to be like a thing when I was a kid that we would, in order to test and see if the square battery was any good, before you put it into like whatever your childhood walkie-talkies or some dumb shit, you put it onto your tongue and it makes this weird, strange, tingly feeling.
That'd be a better way to test it out than that.
Yeah, but this is like the 90s, the 80s, 90s. We were morons,
It's like sniffing Sharpies and such.
We didn't know any better. That's what we just did. Yeah, that's it. Is this highlighter good? I don't know. Stick it up your nose and see if it makes you see dragons and shit. But yeah, you stick the square battery in your tongue, and all of a sudden you get this weird tingle that runs through your body, and you're like, or through your tongue, and you're like, oh, that's it. I don't know. Never did that before? No? I'm alone on that one?
The battery one, a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know. That was the thing. I don't know. I thought everybody did it. I thought that was just what we were up to. I don't know. What other strange shit was out there like that? I don't think.
I'm just an old-fashioned kid. I just did drugs.
Drugs. Yeah. But the good drugs, not the bad drugs.
Oh, different just smoking pot and stuff.
Yeah. Remember that was a drug for a long time, though?
Yeah, people were very upset about that.
Like were you with a DARE program in your school? Did you have that shit? No?
Nah.
How old are you, actually?
I just turned 29.
Oh, yeah. So that's I'm like an old man now, so I'm 44, and we had the DARE program, which was, it was the most uncool thing ever. I feel like it encouraged us to do drugs, because what they did was they'd have a police officer come to your classroom once a week for like 3 months and just tell you about all the drugs that you didn't even know about yet.
You're like, that sounds
'Cause
awesome.
You're like in 5th grade, you know what I mean? Like you know about like weed and cigarettes and shit like that, but they would just come in and tell you about like the dangers of like black tar heroin and crack cocaine, crystal meth, and I'd be like, what does it do? Like, do you even know about that?
Did you grow up out here in Suffolk?
Yeah, I lived in Selden my whole life, out here on the island. So yeah, and
I feel like as you get further out east, it gets very fentanyl-y.
there's always the rural areas always love those type of drugs more for some reason. I don't really know why. I don't know why. It's interesting. I think we've had the conversation before on here where
I feel like there's a lot of cultural and like not cultural. What do you call that? Very like specific areas of the country have specific types of drugs that
Yeah.
are more popular than others, right?
Yeah.
Like this is not a meth area, but there is definitely like a meth area in the country. It's weird. It's like it's weird. I feel like it's almost the same way that you think of like food, right? Like you're not going to order like Italian food in Idaho, but you know you can get it in New York, New Jersey, the tri-state area.
He's like, yeah, that place has good Mexican. It's like, that place has good meth.
Yeah, it's like, if you're in a certain area, you're like, this is where you get your Oxycontin, At the end of the day, after working your shifts down in the coal mine, you come back up and you get some Oxycontin. That's what they do.
You say you don't really smoke these days much anymore, right?
No, I can't. It fucking makes me paranoid.
I definitely
hate it.
I know. I definitely smoke a lot less than I used to when I was younger, and it's just solely because I have like so much things to do. I just can't be like aggressively high all the time. So like when I go out and I go to dispensaries, like I don't buy like the most powerful shit. I'm like, can I get like something in like the lower tier? Just because I want to be a little high, but I don't want to be like too high where I can't like function.
Yeah, you want to be able to actually go out and write and do things, and it's not going to be good if you're fucking.
You ever do dabs?
No, I've watched that, and it looks like the crack cocaine of
Yeah.
marijuana.
It's intense. It's just I did it when it started coming around when I was growing up, and I just remember like the hangouts. Like when you smoke pot with your friends in like a garage, it was fun. You guys are laughing, but when you're doing like dabs, you would you just do the dab, and then everyone just sits in complete silence for 30 minutes because everyone's just too high to speak, and then you just get up and leave. Like go home, and then you go to sleep. And after a while, I was like, that's not fun.
Yeah, that can't be fun.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty much what. That seems like a drug you do by yourself, like the same way you do hallucinogens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to be able to do hallucinogens and things like that in a way that it's like mind expansion. It's not like hanging out in someone's garage, like you said. It's just not the place for it.
Yeah. You ever mess with like mushrooms or anything, Rob?
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I actually enjoy mushrooms. For some reason, that doesn't ruin my day. Although I'm not doing some insane, heroic Terrence McKenna dosage of mushrooms, you know what I mean? Like it's, I'll make some like mushroom tea and I'll just laugh for a while and think I saw something, but know that I really didn't see shit, It's always fun to just do it and just wonder at what point it's gonna kick in. Because it'll kick in, but it never really has gotten me to the point where I start to get like paranoid or anxiety or any of that. Mushrooms have always been. Mushrooms did for me, I would say, every time. It did what they told me cocaine was supposed to do.
And what was that?
Allegedly, cocaine does certain things, right? I don't know how far we can go on this. No, but like they always say, when you take cocaine and you can drink all night long and you're hyperactive and you're like, yeah, let's go, and that never happened to me, Supposedly, if I'd ever had done it, it always just
allegedly.
it just always made me feel like, what's that in the back of my throat? It tastes like grapefruit rind, Why do I feel like shameful right now? Like my dead grandmother's watching me, That would be the only thing that would happen from that. But then doing like mushrooms, it would be like, oh my God, look, I can drink like 25 Red Stripes and I'm still able to play pool.
Yeah, I don't like doing mushrooms and being in public. That's definitely like I need to be at home type of drug.
Yeah, but how are you doing like like a nice.
No, I don't actually.
Really?
I don't eat a lot of mushrooms because I hate the way they taste. I'm like such a baby with that. Like it is just
But have you
doesn't
tried
taste good.
the tea though?
Yeah,
or-
I have a guy out in Brooklyn that makes really good teas, and those are always like a gram or 2 grams per tea container.
Okay. Oh, so they're pre-made.
Yeah.
No shit.
But he makes them, and then yeah.
Oh, I never had it pre-made. I always just, you know,
In the house there with the coffee filters and whatnot, and old tea bags where you're refilling them up again. And
Yeah, in the city you meet a lot of characters.
oh yeah, no, of course. The game is definitely way better because you have way more options. What about acid? You've ever gone that route?
Yeah, no, I was a big acid dude growing up, but I feel like it's one of those things you can't abuse it too much, or just like it'll change your whole trajectory towards in life. You know, if you abuse it too
No,
much.
I can understand that. Well, I think all drugs are a tool, and if you use it too much, you can definitely, you know, screw things up. But
I would say
acid's weird for me. I did a half tab, and it was awesome until, okay, I don't know how this works, but if you take if you do mushrooms, you can do anything else on top of it, and nothing happens until the mushrooms wear off.
okay.
That's how I've always found it to be. So like if I take mushrooms and I drink like 8 beers, they didn't do anything to me. So as the mushrooms wear off, now I'm drunk. But until then, the mushrooms are in control of everything. So you know, I could take mushrooms, smoke weed, and it doesn't do anything. I'm like, look at me, I can smoke weed again. Like I'm not paranoid. This is great. Whereas when I took acid and then I decided to just smoke a little bit, it was like, ooh, magnified everything.
Yeah.
It made it so awful.
Acid's hard to do. I would say acid's probably like one of my my favorite drugs to do. But as I've gotten older, I just don't have like time to do it. It's like an all-day endeavor. So like you're gonna be tripping for 8 hours if you do that.
no, you're right because I felt like
And you gotta give yourself like a day after for the afterglow, because like you'll have that day where you're tripping and then like you still feel fuzzy for like the next day.
no, I get that. I mean, I found like after a couple of hours of being in that state, I was like, okay, we're done. We're done. Can we go to sleep now? Oh, we can't sleep.
Sleep doesn't happen? Okay, this is great.
You ever performed on it?
No, God, no. No, imagine trying to do that. That would be insane.
I have. Mushrooms is easier, you know, especially if you're like comfortable and you're having like fun and such. I for my birthday, my cousin gave me like a giant bag of mushrooms, and when I got it, like I think the next day at a show, I do like 25 minutes, and I took a piece of the mushrooms, like a cap and stem. And I'm like, this is fine. And then like I was on the train to Harlem to do my show, and I was just like fighting demons. Like I was just like, why did I do this to myself? But like you were saying, like sometimes with those like hallucinogens, they give you kind of like a certain perspective, and it can help you change things for the better.
Well, wait, you got to the show and did it, though?
Oh, I felt better when I was at the show because
okay.
like it was a good vibe. It was like, you know, I was with good people. And, you know, I was ready. It made me feel like, I was like, oh, I got this, because, like, I know I got this, you know? But on the way to the show, when I was on, like, the subway, that's where, like, I was, like, fighting for my life.
I see. I never felt that way on mushrooms. The only time I ever felt like that was, I'll tell you, the one that really fucks me up more than anything is edibles.
I don't like edibles.
Edibles will destroy your goddamn world.
Like, edibles will... I took an edible...
It's a completely different thing than, like, smoking a joint.
Oh, yeah. I took edible honey one time, and I went straight past, I don't feel good, I think I'm dying, I think I might be dying. I went to, I'm already dead, and I'm a ghost. And I had to, like, try to convince myself that I wasn't a ghost. And that's a circle when you get locked into that'll kill your day, because, you know, to think that you might be dying, fine, but to think you're already dead, like...
I'm still coming back from that.
Think about it right now. Prove to yourself we're not dead right now. We didn't die 10 minutes ago in a fire, and we just don't even know that we're dead right now. We're still tattooing, and meanwhile the building is like on fire. You know?
I think
Yeah.
my answer to that is I feel the tattoo. I feel like the pain of the tattoo.
So you wouldn't feel the pain if you were dead?
I don't think so, no. You ever think about when you get dressed and you go out that if you die, that's like your ghost outfit for forever?
Oh, yeah. And that's it. You have to constantly be
Well, that was always the question I had, was how come only the cool shit is haunted and never ever the like crappy places, right? It's never ever like aisle 3 of the Home Depot. Like people die there, you know what I mean? Like I was an EMT, so people died in all sorts of weird, strange places, but there was never ever like a ghost of aisle 3 at the Home Depot, which is just...
You think it's because there's too many things just going on there for...
I don't know. I don't know if that's just because the ghosts just don't, you know, don't choose to be in crappy places, maybe? I don't know. I feel like somebody should be there.
I do this show upstate in Lake Placid, and they give us like a hotel room and stuff, and like the first time we did the show there, the hotel they put us was allegedly like haunted.
Right.
And we were only there for a night, and we got back to the hotel at like 4 in the morning, so like I was just too drunk to care about ghosts, even if they were ghosts. Like I just went straight to sleep. I was just like, I don't...
Too drunk to care about ghosts.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lyric from like a song. Like, too drunk to care about ghosts.
But I did look into like the lore of that, and that hotel is apparently haunted. I don't remember the name of it though. It's in Lake Placid.
That's just funny. Too drunk to care about ghosts. I had a theory about like people all the time. They always tell you that when someone sees a UFO or Bigfoot or something like that, like they're drunk. That's what only drunk people and people that are fucked up see ghosts and UFOs and shit like that. And I'm like, I don't think that's true. I think when you're like fucked up, you don't care. Like you said, you just don't give a shit. Like why would I care about any of that? I'm drunk. You know what I care about? I care about where I'm gonna get the drinks from. That's what I care about. Like,
yeah.
What's my next drink? What are we doing next? You know.
Now you can't even go against the idea of there being like aliens, because it's like official government released like documents that states that they're like UFOs and stuff like that. They're
there, and you know what's crazy is nobody seemed to give a shit. Like you remember when like it was like right after COVID, they were suddenly like, hey guys, just wanted to let you know real quick, UFOs, they exist.
And then Kobe died, and then there was like
they were like, yeah, but Biden. And you're like, no, who cares about him anymore? There's aliens, you know?
Yeah.
It's always so weird when you're tattooing and doing a show at the same time, because you kind of forget after a little while, which I guess is kind of cool. You do a podcast now, right?
No, I don't.
That's what every single comic ever did, a podcast now.
I mean, I've been on a couple of my friends' ones, but I don't have my own. I throw shows with my friend Chocolate. He's a musician. He goes by Chocolate Brown. So we drove these music comedy shows together. No.
Dude, if he was white and his name was Chocolate Brown, that would be the greatest.
No, he might be the blackest guy ever. But he's also my roommate, and we've been throwing shows together for like 3 years. And we actually throw a show at a tattoo bar. We did it yesterday.
Oh, that's the one that's in is it
Flatbush?
That's right. Oh yeah.
Fib tattoo, yeah.
I saw that. That was kind of a cool new concept, to have a bar attached to a tattoo parlor.
Yeah, the tattoo spot's in the basement, and then the bar's on top.
Because it was always one of those things that was like, if you have a bar attached to a tattoo shop, you're going to tattoo nothing but drunks. And I'm like, you can tattoo drunks all the time, you know? It's, you don't have to be in the bar with them, you know?
Yeah, I've never gotten a tattoo there, though. Like, I've been doing shows there on and off for, like, the last, like, 2 or 3 years.
But it's not, they can't tattoo on the stage, though.
No. I mean, I'm sure they could do whatever they want, but we never done that. Doing stand-up while you're getting a tattoo?
Yeah. That's kind of fun. I've heard of that. Someone recently did that.
I can't remember the guy's name. Shannon something. It's a friend of Kelpie's. You know Kelpie from out here?
Yeah.
He's doing a show. He's coming out.
And he did a show where they tattoo you while you're on stage.
How long are you doing?
I don't know. I think it's like small stuff, like a small little wheel kind of thing.
Okay.
But it'd be kind of interesting. An interesting concept. I don't know. There's all sorts of just weird gimmicks and stuff in tattooing. In tattooing, but in stand-up now, there's lots of stuff like that. You know?
I think the stupidest idea I did for a show was we had a biscuit eating contest.
Biscuits?
Yeah, big Popeye biscuits.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, my friend, he goes by the name Crack Jesus.
Yo, you got some friends.
I got some friends.
Chocolate Brown and Crack Jesus.
Yeah, 2 separate people.
Okay, and then so Crack Jesus is like, hey,
No,
I got an idea.
He just made a video. It went kind of viral. Just him eating like 10 Popeye biscuits, no beverage. And
Oh, that's rough.
so the reason why I brought up chocolate was
Salty
because
biscuits.
we had this podcast where we made like 7 episodes for it, where we interviewed a comic and a musician. It was just like the 4 of us talking, right? So it was always 1 and 1. And we made like 7 episodes. We never released it, but one of the episodes was with Crack Jesus, and we were talking about that biscuit video, and then we thought of the idea of having like a comedy show where, as you're doing your set, you eat as many biscuits as you can without drinking a beverage, while also still talking.
Oh man!
And doing your set.
That's just a salty. That's a salty ass time right there. That's literally that. How did that work? How'd that go down?
Funny enough, Chocolate Brown, who sings, he actually won. And he was singing like while eating the biscuits, and we were like, I ate like half a biscuit, and I was like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna lose this." And he had like I had like half a biscuit. Chocolate had 2 biscuits, and he won. I think everyone else only had like maybe like 1 biscuit they can get through.
Fucking silliness.
Yeah, it was such a stupid idea, but it was really fun.
Yeah, but that's kind of what makes this all kind of fun, you know.
Yeah.
These all the zany, wild ideas that we keep coming up with. I think it's kind of funny. Oh, Chocolate Brown and Crack Jesus. Anybody? You have another one? You have like a third one in there?
Nah. With a name like that, I would say that they've definitely.
You kind of got enough.
Win.
Yeah.
They win.
Yeah, I love a good nickname, but you have to be given a nickname, you know.
Yeah, you can't just be like, "Hey, call me Spider."
Yeah, anybody that has a cool nickname is usually like there's something afoot there. It's like, wait, what's your nickname? Like, nah, you gave that to yourself. I know what was happening here. There's a lot of wacky comedy gimmick shows now going on. I don't know how I feel about them. I'm like on the fence on it. Like everyone's been all excited lately because Kill Tony is out here. Did the Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, did you go?
No,
I didn't go either.
I felt like a lot of people went, and I thought about like a lot of those people, and I was like, you just stay at home, you know. No, it was nothing personal against them. It was just like, if you do good, you kill in 1 minute. That's awesome. I'm sure there's some people that I know that have a great killer minute, but now you have to go up and do like an hour, you know.
Yeah.
Like I got to host for Uncle Laser, and he did really well. You know, I'm not disparaging on him, but you know, you win that contest, and all of a sudden now they put you on the road, and you're like going everywhere. Like, how are you going to do an hour from 1 minute? You know, so it's almost like I don't know. I don't know how to explain that. It just seems like a lot. It just seems like a lot to do.
Yeah, I heard they only took like 7 comics, so there was like 1,000 people that showed up, and they only took because they had I think they couldn't go past 10 o'clock for like and then they only picked 7. I know a couple of comics that got called up, and they're like, I think one in particular did like really good. This dude Jason King from like Queens, but he's the man. So like it was awesome to see him do it. But it always sucks when you like the comics that do get picked are like first time doing stand up.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, even not the first timers, the guys that are still like in that beginning stages. You know, where you're like, you don't have an hour. How do you win something and not have an hour? You know. I don't know.
I just I couldn't commit myself to the time this time around. Because you have to, it's like an all day endeavor. Like you have to get there like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then you're there till like 11 o'clock at night.
Well, that's like back in the day. We did Last Comic Standing when that came around. I did that, and you know, again, it was like sleeping on the streets all night long. You know, it's ridiculous. What are you gonna do? And then you go in there for 5 seconds, and they're like, next. And you're like, okay, cool. I'm glad we did this. I'm glad we wasted my entire day here with you people, you know. But I guess it's all about that dream, right?
Yeah, I don't know. In this point of stand-up for me, like, I'm all about quality over quantity.
Yup, that makes sense.
I feel like when you first start out, and not that I'm like super into it, I'm like 6-7 years now. But as like you first start, you gotta get up as much time as possible. But then now I'm just like, I don't need to get up every day.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I definitely feel like getting up as much as possible.
But like if you're doing shows, then yeah, but like I don't really like mics and stuff. Like I feel like after a while,
Yeah,
you know,
it depends on what it is. No, I hear what you're saying. Like, you don't have to do like, 3 and 5 mics a night kind of thing to make.
Yeah, when I first started, I was doing that when I would go to the city. Like, I would go to the city, like, super early in the daytime, and then I would, like, hit, like, 5-6 mics a day.
Right,
And, like,
right.
but now I feel like nothing discourages me more than going to, like, a shitty open mic. And then I'm just like, this doesn't make me feel good at all.
No, that's a very back and forth kind of sort of thing. Like, in the beginning, you need that for certain reasons, and then when you get into it for a little bit, you don't.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning, you need to have all those crappy shows because you need to get yourself into a situation where now you know what being shitty feels like.
Yeah.
Like what what it's like to do comedy at a place where nobody's listening. And then after a while, you get through that and you get your chops and everything's okay. And then you don't have to. What was a gnat? It was a little gnat that flew in. I had to address that because that would show up on camera, and they'd be like, "Had the guy not addressed the random gnat that flew past?"
If it comes by again, I'll catch it and just kill it with my bare hands.
Just catch it like Mr. Miyagi. Catch it, remember in Karate Kid?
Yeah.
With the Chinese
I've like
chopsticks.
I've caught in like flies like that, and it's just disgusting.
In your fingers, like yeah.
Yeah, like you'll catch it and you'll be like, oh, that's really cool. I caught it, and you'll open your fingers and open your hands, and you'll be like, that's gross.
Yeah, like, why did I do that? That was gross for everyone involved.
When did you start comedy?
I started when I was younger. I started like 10 plus years ago. I was doing it. I was doing it when I, let's see, what year was it? 2005. So I was 25, and I did it till I was 30. But then I just quit because it was just insane. It's way better now than it used to be. The bookers and the club owners were just so insane back in the day. I feel like they would just use and abuse you a lot more. Now they just don't give you any time. It's more fun that way.
Yeah.
But they would just abuse and use comics with left and right. And I had it out with one of the club owners, and I just was like, you know what? I don't need to do this anymore. I quit. I'm done. And I did. And one thing led to another, and I stopped for 10 years. And then somewhere it just kind of came back. It just kind of creeped into my soul. I was like, I still want to do this, Like, you can't really get rid of it, You can't just stop doing it.
I've never done anything more consistently in my life than this.
That's an awesome thing to say. Because that's how you know it is your thing, Because you have that and you're not, it's not like one of those things where you have to do it, so you're doing it because you really want to do it. That's what you do.
No, 100%. Like, I definitely am going to be that weird old guy throwing bar shows when I'm in my 50s.
It gets into your soul, and it's like, all right, I guess so. I stopped for a long time, and then out here on the island, John Butera was like, come on, dude, you should do a show again. And I was like, I don't want to. And I was like, all right, maybe I'll do one. And then like a week later, I'm like, yo, you got another show? He's like, what? I'm like, I need another show, man. Come on.
Yeah, you get your fix.
It was definitely like, I felt like a junkie after that. And I was like, all right, you know what? Cool. That's a good... Comedy can be my smack. That's not so bad.
I don't think I can stop because I feel like when I really like analyze everything that like I have that I appreciate, it came from stand-up.
That's cool too.
Whether it be like the people in my life, like my roommates, my everything. Like I don't think I couldn't even like fathom what I'd be doing if I didn't have stand-up.
No, that's the kind of thing that you need in this business. You can't have it in some sort of way where it's, I'll take the month off. I don't have to do it. It's like, no, you want to do it. You always want to be around it. I find like it's like a default thing for me too. Like whatever I do, I'm always going back to it,
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I go like a week or so without doing stand-up, and then like I always just feel weird. I'm just like, I gotta get up.
You have to. If you don't, it's like something's wrong. Like you're missing something. There's just because there's that bit of a what do you want to call it? Like a dopamine
Yeah.
that's kicking in too.
But that's why I always just like I've always thrown my own shows just because I don't want anyone to ever dictate like how often I can go up. Like that should be on me.
That's kind of cool too. It could be like autonomous. That's the right word, I believe. Autonomous in that you don't have to be relying on some club or some booker. But do you feel like different when it's your own show versus like doing a show that's like for someone else or?
I mean,
or for a
it's
club?
less stressful when it's not your show. Because someone that like throws shows, like to like go to a show and only have to worry about just doing my set, that's awesome, But when you're running a show, there's more variables you think about. You're freaking out about other things, So by the time you actually get time to when you have to go up, you're like, I haven't even thought about my set at all because I've just been overthinking everything else. That's why I stopped like hosting my own shows. Because I used to host all the shows like that Roost show I had.
Right.
I had it for 2 years. I did every
that.
Thursday. I hosted it.
Yeah, so now it's just you get to go up, you get to do your set, you get to come back down.
Yeah.
That's smart. It keeps it a little more to what you want from it. To do comedy and not make it about, how many people are here? Did you get the money? Did you get what's this person doing? That person's drunk. Blah blah blah. And you had a fun show. The last show that we did was down in that like indoor mall in the basement in a bar in Brooklyn.
Yeah, something else.
And fucking Bret the Hitman Hart showed up.
Yeah, I forgot you were there for that one. Yeah.
It was so wild. I'm just like, yo, this big dude just comes and sits down with his whole posse, and I'm like, that's somebody? I know that's somebody. And then somebody said that's like Bret the Hitman Hart, and I'm like, no, it's not. Why would that? And then I was like, oh yeah, shit, no, it is. It is.
It was super random. He was there for his with his family, just enjoying himself, and then we just ruined it by telling him to come to our comedy show.
Well, he was walking through that basement down there, that bar that's in the the lower level of that mall, and
yeah, my friend Steve, who was like our he used to bark. He's really good at barking, but he noticed him. I wouldn't have noticed him. He just looked like an old white guy to me.
He just knew who he was.
Yeah,
that's insane too. Because then whoever was on stage said it, and I was just like, I don't know, that's a very random reference to some why would you reference that guy? And it worked. He got in, and that was cool though. That was a good little place. I enjoyed that. I hate that I have to get up for the sink all the time. This is the new problem that I'm having here. Casey, why does he keep standing up and ruining the whole damn shop? It's because the plumber decided to put the sink in the place that I really didn't want it. So now it requires that I get up a dozen times in the middle of tattoos. Probably just gonna quit tattooing entirely. I feel like. You ever think of that? You're like, I'm gonna quit.
Stand up full time.
Yeah, I would. I would do it full time. I would do it full time. But you still have. You want to talk about that?
What?
Your job?
Yeah, I mean, I have like a decent day job. I feel like I hate the idea of like the broke artist. Like to be like a successful artist, you gotta like just suffer and have no money. Like I don't think that's entirely true. But I do finance sales. I work for a company. I won't say the company's name, but I just help people with debt. So it's just like.
I love it because it's totally the opposite of like what you think.
Yeah, my aesthetic. Great. Yeah.
Because you look like you like
work at a Zoomies or something.
Yeah, you'd be like, nah, you don't want that kind of surfboard. You want like a longboard, like
And I know nothing about that stuff either.
But that's it. And so instead, you're just like you need to diversify your portfolio because I don't know any technological terms for what you do. It's crazy though. How long you been doing that for?
For almost 2 years now. I've been working at the company I was working at now for a little bit, but beforehand, I was working for this company. I'll talk about that company because it doesn't exist anymore. But I was working for this company called Strategic Consulting, and the CEO of our company was a stepson of Jordan Belfort, like the guy who Wolf of Wall Street was about. Yeah. And that company's been around for like 15 years, and then they had like a whole federal case that they were building against them since like 2010. And then I think in January of this year, we're all working from home randomly, and then all of our systems just turned off, just stopped working. And then we get like a group chat from our managers, and they were just like, "Yeah, take the rest of the day off. We'll come back on Tuesday," which is weird because it was Friday. It wasn't even like we'll come back Monday. We're like, "Yo, come back on Tuesday. Take Monday off too." And we're like, "Okay." And then Tuesday came around, and they were like, "Yeah, so there's this lawsuit, and we just gotta play it out, but we can't do anything. We can't work." So we were all just on standby for like a week or two, and then we realized the severity of it, and then they were just like, "Yeah, you guys should just find other jobs."
But nobody got arrested. Like nobody in the company.
I think it's still going on. I mean, as far as like employees, yeah, we didn't do anything wrong. But like the upper people, you know, those are it's still going on. So it's like it's undetermined what happened, what their fate is.
Upper management had a little bit of a problem, but
the boys in corporate.
You guys are okay though. That's fucking wild. And that's and how long you been doing that for now?
That job was like, it was like 2 years ago. So I was there for like 15 months, and then it all went downhill, and then I was out of work for like 2 or 3 months, and then I got this job I'm at now, where I'm doing the same thing, but just for another company, like an actual legit one.
And is that something that you like, did like college and stuff? And, like,
no, I never went to college. So it's just funny to have like
I would think that would be like, I obviously didn't go to college. I mean, there is no tattoo university. That would be ridiculous if there was. But finance, I'd feel like you'd have to be like good with numbers and stuff like that. No, like
to an extent. I mean, I know what I'm talking about when it comes to that. But yeah, they just teach you everything. It's just because it's sales, you know. Even though it's like a finance sales job, it's just talking to people, you know, and like sales is constant rejection. And there's no harder form of that than being a stand-up comic.
You know what? That's well said. You're right.
So
you're pretty much giving yourself every day, and you're selling yourself. If you can sell yourself, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of like half the game with it. It's just like having good conversations because they're gonna go with the person that they like talking to the most. You know.
You know what? Like that's true. And that's the damn truth about comedy too, because when you think about this whole thing, people, you constantly look, at least I do, and I'll look through like Instagram and all that shit, and you see somebody that you know, and you're like, how did they get that show? Like, why are they getting to do the thing? And you're like, well, that's because they're fun. You know? I mean, it's not necessarily that they're a bad comic or anything like that, but you know, there are a lot of people out there that they're okay at comedy, but they're just a good hang, and you're like, I'd rather be around that guy.
Yeah, like, no, as a person who runs, a person that runs shows, especially these upstate endeavors that I do, you know, I get like 3 or 4 of my friends, and then we go up there. They give us like a hotel room for the weekend, and obviously I get like my friends that are good at comedy to do the show, but I never like outsourced to someone I wasn't cool with because they're like a guy. Right. I would always just pick my friends, and I remember there was like a comic that asked me, it was like, yo, how do you get on, how do I get booked on one of those upstate shows? And I was like, I don't know, why don't you try being my friend? Like, I just try being a pleasant person to be around.
Yeah, no, be cool. Like, if you're not cool, nobody wants to, well, it's true, you think about it, like, if you think about the amount of time that comics spend on the road and in these places, and you're trapped in a car with somebody for 5, 6, 7 hours driving to some random place, you want to be hanging with some dildo? You know what I mean? And you're like, all right, well, this guy's cool. Like, I can party with him. He's logical. He's not going to do insane shit. You know. It makes absolute sense. Yeah, no, it makes sense too with finances, because it's like, okay, why did you go with that guy? You know, it's because he seemed like somebody that made sense to me. You know?
Yeah, because there's a lot of companies that do what we do, so it's just we have competitors and such, and it's normally like, and clients have told me this before, they're just like, I just went with you because you were a better conversation. Like the other person, they were trying to rush me to sign up, they were like being too pushy, and I'm just like,
you listen to them, and then they go, okay, this is a person that I actually, you know, I'd hang out with and get a beer with. No. That's how everyone gets their jobs. When you think about it, that's how every single person gets their kind of place in this life. It's like people are like, oh well, you know, people won't do like comedy contests. Well, it's a popularity contest, and I'm like, everything is.
Yeah.
You don't vote for somebody because you don't know who they are. You vote for somebody because you know who they are. It's like that's what you're trying to do. Trying to get ahead. It's all coming together. How are you feeling?
I feel good. This looks cool from up here.
It's got a good look to it. It's going to be nice and bright. That's the most important thing. Bright and concise. Yeah, my whole life, the only things I've always consistently done was tattooing. Tattooing's always been something I've done since I was a kid. And I did other stuff too to like try things out, you know. But the only thing that I've ever always done was tattooing, and comedy was one of those things that I came back to. Because it wound up being always happening no matter what everything else was doing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, in the midst of having any kind of moment of whatever, good, bad, I'd always just go to jokes. Like, make jokes.
Yeah.
Be funny. You know, in the middle of whatever it was, I was an EMT, and I did that and make jokes on the ambulance. Like, Rob, you shouldn't make jokes on the ambulance. People are dying. Like, yeah, I know, but
It's the best time to make jokes.
It's kind of hysterical, don't you think?
Yeah.
You know, Rob, you shouldn't make jokes in the tattoo shop. People are trying to make, like, straight lines. I'm like, I don't give a shit, you know? It's all about the fucking joke. Come on. Make jokes at funerals and all sorts of awful places that you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, with my job, when I'm on like a phone, like a sales call, like obviously I'm like talking to people that are in debt, so their situation like sucks.
Well, yeah, you can't.
No, but like
Do you really? You
yeah, I
make
was
fun of
making
them?
I don't make fun of them like you stupid idiot. No, but I'm like
That would be good though.
But I always make it a point to make them laugh. If I can make them laugh, I know I can convince them to sign up for this. Just like I feel like there's this like power in humor.
No, I'm not losing my mind. I thought I heard like a phone ringing.
No,
But I think it was just ringing in my brain. I think that's how you know that the shrooms just kicked in.
yeah.
I feel like, but you're right. You have to kind of use humor. Humor's your tool. You know what I mean? Like that's what you were given, and that's what you have to kind of go with. And if you can make people laugh about their situation, it's like, all right, we laughed a little bit. Yeah, the situation sucks, but so now you're helping people to actually get out of debt and like after.
Yeah. Like if I'm talking to you at my job, like you fucked up. So it's just like, so I don't really feel too bad about like people in their situations.
Well, fucked up, but not in their way. Like nothing they did wrong, right?
No, because everyone I talk to, they're in like crazy credit card debt or something like that.
Oh,
or, like,
okay,
they
yeah,
took out
yeah.
like 30% interest loans.
Yeah.
And then they're just getting like, just fucked.
I can't say I haven't had financial issues in my life.
Who hasn't, you know?
You know, if you don't have... But then that's also a sign of somebody that's actually trying to do stuff, too. I mean, unless you're just spending the money on, like, trips and stuff. If you haven't gotten yourself into a weird situation with money, then you're not pushing it.
No, 100%.
That's what I kind of feel. Like, that makes sense to me. It's like, all right, yeah, we ran up the savings. All right, what are you trying to do? Trying to small business, or are you trying to, you know, start some type of investment that failed and that kind of thing?
You gotta risk it to get the biscuit.
Risk it to get the biscuit? I feel like that's not a phrase you use at your job, right? Is it?
Nah.
Yeah, risk it to get the biscuit. That's what he said.
What I'm saying to what you're saying, like, you know, you gotta, scared money don't make money.
That's true, right? Well, my buddy had a tattoo that said, scared money make none. And I was like, what does that even mean? He's like, yo, scared money make none. Like, what do you mean? I was like, it was true. Yeah, it was true.
Yeah, I feel like you just can't be afraid to fail.
Well, yeah, because that's what we do in comedy is we go up there and do something that just, it's like we're setting ourselves up for this awful moment. You know, it's true. You're like, why would we do that? Why would you go up there and risk all that embarrassment? You know, like, because when you get it right,
Something better than it.
it's cool as shit. Like, you're just up there and all of a sudden you just turn around and you're like, you say that joke and somebody just gets it and they laugh and you're like, score, I win.
Yeah, it sounds better than it.
It's a drug. It's really a drug, you know? I mean, it could be good, it could be bad, right? Like doing heroin. You shoot heroin, like sometimes you wind up dead on the floor of a Motel 6.
You've all been there.
You know? Yeah, sometimes that's, No, it's true. Sometimes when you do heroin, you wind up dead on the floor of a Motel 6. Other times you're Keith Richards, and you go on tour with the greatest fucking band of all time. Keith Richards is proof that sometimes
Well, heroin ain't bad.
heroin. That's a new campaign. Sometimes heroin. And other things that must be edited out.
You know what's weird about the city right now is that like everywhere you go, there's just like you buy weed, and I don't really like that
You don't like that.
because it's not all good weed.
Well, that's kind of fun though, because now at least you can like
It was cool.
window shop for weed, right? Like
I mean, it was cool at first, but then like as you know, you go to. I feel like everywhere doesn't need to be selling weed.
no, that's true too. It's become
Yeah.
like one of these things where every single gas station, bodega, health food stores, like we sell weed in kratom. Like what is fucking kratom?
Yeah.
Someone tell me what kratom is.
I have no idea.
And you know, don't look at me. Chris is looking at me off camera like for using that accent, but you know damn well that is exactly what you're selling kratom, my friend. Please. I don't know what it is. I don't know what kratom is. Can we get some kratom? We should get some kratom. Just, I don't know. Weed got so fucking crazy now. Everyone's selling that shit.
Yeah, I'm also like a weed snob. I rather spend like money on like really good weed than like, you know, back then like when I was younger, you know, just like it was quality over quantity.
No, but
or
remember-
quantity over quality, I'm sorry.
Remember old weed? Like how bad old weed was?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of weed that I still have to smoke. Like the weed that you don't even remember.
Yeah.
That's like the weed that comes
Like brick
and it's got pieces of rope in it and stuff. Like, what is that? Is that like,
Like
some
brickwork, like brick.
it's like you have to like chisel it apart, and it was all like with a piece of twine, like packing twine still in it. You know? And like nowadays, if you find a seed in your weed, you're like, what the fuck?
What kind of bullshit is
When I
this?
found seeds in my weed back in the day, it was like, yeah, it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be loaded.
So you can
with-
grow more.
It's loaded with seeds. That's what it's called. That's the
It's
name
like when
of my
there's
weed.
seeds in your apple. You don't even think about it. You're like, it's supposed to be there.
What's the strain? It's called seeds. That's what it is. I think we are done. We have.
That's
I
pretty
believe we
badass.
are all in and on. Hot damn. Yeah, it's gonna brighten up more, and the lightness, the blues, and all that will come out and everything.
That's cool shit.
Pretty damn cool. Hell yeah. Well, thank you for letting me do it.
Thank you for doing it, man.
A fun evening.
Yeah.
We have to do a picture, and we have to do. How does this end, Chris?
Every time.
How does the episode end?
This is the 22nd episode.
It ends like this, where I go, well, folks, so concludes another episode of Who the F is Rob White with my guest, Rene Fuentes. Rene, tell the camera any kind of information you like, your website, your...
You can follow all the shows that I do. Big Chuckles Production on Instagram. I do weekly shows in New York City, the West Village, Brooklyn. I got shows in the Adirondacks upstate. I'm out here. Just stay tuned.
Getting it done, man. Excellent. Thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Rob.
Guys, like, share, subscribe, write to me in the comments. Check out the shops, rotgut.shop for any kind of merchandise that we got going up. And we'll see you on the next episode.